No. Just kidding. Just kidding. We're back. We're back. And we're back. And we're live. We're back. How's it going? I mean, if you want the short answer, it is no. But I guess I'll continue and give you the long answer, huh? Oh, man. I think I'm getting tired of talking about it, honestly. It's like the fourth stream I did where I've primarily focused on HEX stuff. And it's just like, I don't know. I don't think it's that hard, really, but maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe, yeah. Maybe I've channeled inner sanctity or something, or inner whatever, in order to like not panic. I'll get into it in a minute. Let me pull up this thread real quick. I'll just put it in the chat. Take a look. I'm not sure how many more I'm going to make like this, because it's yeah, again, don't know what the emergency is. Everything's working fine. The code's working fine. The price hasn't went up, hasn't made all-time highs like Bitcoin. I guess that's the only thing. Still got the mega whales buying bun. Richard's active. Bull market's on. I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited, and I don't really know what there's not to be excited about. I don't really know what it's. Let's say, for example, I had an HEX ladder, and it was wrecked on paper. Yeah. So what? If I had such a ladder and other ladders and other things, I probably have equal bets or somewhere plus or minus a bunch on Pulse and PulseX and of course PX and Ink and all that stuff too. So in this very worst case example, if HEX went to zero, it just goes down. Nobody buys it for some reason. Everyone just sells it. Nobody buys it. All the LP's gone. Can't trade it for anything. Worst case, which I don't think it will. No idea, not financial advice, but I don't think it will. I'm not betting that direction. Then in this hypothetical example, I would have lost 20% of portfolio that many people think can 100x or more. Like what are we talking about? I'm failing to see the problem here. Does it suck? Yes. Agreed. Is it a problem for me in this example, for example? No. And I don't think, again, if that were my portfolio setup, I'm not saying it is, but if it were, which I don't think is uncommon, I think a lot of people would have some sort of similar deal, or at least something where they weren't 90% into HEX and 10% everything else ecosystem, for example. Again, what's the problem? What's going on? Where's the marching in the streets? I don't. What are we marching for? You marching for founder not do thing I don't like? What are we marching for? So I think a lot of people thought about it that way, or at least could relate to it, or just pull themselves out of this hole of just like everything sucks type of thing. It's the rational way to think about it, in my opinion. And we could just move on faster and get back on track to being excited about the mad gains, all that stuff again. Nothing has changed on. Nothing has changed on. So has anything changed on the mad gains? Like what update, what chart, what analysis, what pool, like what has changed on the mad gains part? Please chat, let me know what has changed on the mad gains part. I don't get it. And tell me how, really, anyone who wants to talk about it, tell me how this has actually affected your portfolio. Like if it has dramatically affected your portfolio, I'm struggling to come up, again, portfolio, we're putting the builders aside, we're putting community sentiment, we're putting the, trust that Richard was never going to kick HEX out or something. We're putting all that to the side. Because I think what everyone is probably mostly focused on, and everything in general, is how is this making them or costing them money? So if you look at the portfolio, how did this devastate anyone's? And again, if it did devastate a small portion of people's portfolio, heart goes out to you. Sorry, I hate seeing anyone buy HEX not get rewarded HEX on either of those chains. But like what if that's not the case, if it is like, if it was 20% of people's portfolio, or 30% or 10% or 5% or whatever, what are we talking about? I don't, it's not that I don't want to see it. I don't know what to, I don't know what it is. So I was thinking about this. I was driving earlier. I'm like, I don't I saw on Twitter, again, I try to avoid the drama and all this stuff all the time. I don't know what there is. I don't know what problem we're trying to solve. I don't think anything has changed for that good. So again, if you have been severely negatively impacted by fucking like an insurance commercial, by HEX going down and not zero recently, and I'm not saying I'm not affected either. I'm just again, it's one of those water off the back type of things. Okay, it happens. That's what you signed up for. That's what I signed up for. I signed up for unexpected things happen. Remember, no expectations. I can't predict the future. I can place my bets accordingly, though. So, I don't know. HEX life matters. It certainly does. I agree. But also, all HEX life matters. Are we going there? Anyways, that's funny. RHMax, what's the HEX FUD? I miss so much drama hanging out on Twitter all day. Oh my gosh. Wow. Let me sign up for whatever plan you're doing for not being on Twitter. I know, right? It's like sometimes I don't even, it's not that I expect more positivity to be on Twitter and stuff, but sometimes I do want to take a break too. And just like, you can curate your feed, you can, mute people and block people, like whatever. But I don't know how people aren't more excited than, the other way around. I don't see it. Like okay, I'm sure, again, go back to this for a minute. I'm struggling to find out the scenarios where people are losing money on this. If you onboarded a new person to HEX and they're losing money. Okay, I got that. I get that point. If you took this leap of faith that HEX was going to pop harder and everything else, and it turned out to, less likely to happen. Okay. Those seem like corner cases to me for the most part. Again, I could be wrong. I don't have the data in front of me, but I feel like those are corner cases. So majority of people, portfolio, not so much affected. Now, if you were building on HEX, again, I'm going to put all those stuff aside. All that matters, but I'm saying portfolio, how's it actually losing you money? How's it costing you money that HEX is worth less and maybe worth less in the future and all that stuff? Even though Richard literally tweeted that all the other ecosystem may pull up HEX too, which is, I don't want to say it's obvious, but like that sounds like a scenario that's reasonable if that does indeed happen. So I don't know. If you're building on HEX, kind of sucked. If this took this as another reason not to trust Richard because it took 2 years for PulseChain to launch and now everything's uncertain and the prices aren't pumping because you want them to right now or something. All that is separate from the portfolio. Actual portfolio on paper losses, all that is separate. I want to treat that as the most important thing for today's conversation, at least. Who's affected? Why are they so bad? John Kim, you're coping, dude. What am I coping about? What have I said that sounds like cope? I feel like I hope, maybe. What define cope? Is cope when you give up and start, getting rid of everything? Like, and what would I be coping about? Would it be about the HEX that I've already forgotten about in my portfolio? Like, if I had such an allocation, I don't get it. Like, what is the more healthy way of looking at this than being like, all this seems like a big emotional thing and not really a rational state of thing. So I don't know. I don't quite get that. So a lot of long-term mistakes. Yeah, I What part of that scope? What part of recognizing that a product has a deeper discount than its counterpoint on PulseChain? And I mean, even with Somi too, like I don't like. I like to hear from Somi. I don't agree with every position Somi takes, for example, but I like that he's telling us, or telling me, for example, what I'm interpreting, for the most part, what the market is doing and how it's responding and what it's valuing. And that can change too if and when things start to look different. Again, whatever narratives, that's a different thing, but I like to hear the perspective of what market's actually doing. And it's not like I'm discounting that in any way. I mean, I see all this stuff happening. I just don't think it's, for me personally, again, if I were to have a portfolio and it would have had an HEX allocation, how does this affect me other than worst case ever? It goes to zero, which I don't think, again, I don't think it's going to happen. Who knows? I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think most people think it's going to happen. How does this affect me? If everything else is supposed to go up 100x, how am I affected by this? I don't get it. You're too dependent on Richard to make money. Remember, I don't know what part of, again, if you say something that hooks onto, yeah, I don't know. Who is dependent on Richard to make money? Who is dependent on Satoshi to make the money? Who's dependent on Cardano guy or Vitalik? Or, I mean, aren't we all at the end of the day dependent on the market to buy a product that the founder supports and release and puts good work in and has devs doing and all that stuff? I don't know. I don't think betting on the ecosystem means you're dependent on anything other than the ecosystem surviving and thriving. So anyways, that's the last one I get to on that. What's up, Unplugged Dad? Just scrolling. Gandalf, you don't understand why people are not excited as prices go down. It's actually a good point. I do understand why it's less exciting to see prices go up and down, I would say, because prices have went up a lot in the last few months as well. I guess it is that sort of, I don't know why waiting longer isn't a feasible strategy, that sort of thing. I mean, when PulseChain launched and it didn't go to the moon, it was kind of like, okay, everyone, maybe they were over leveraged when they sacrificed, otherwise they need the money to get to sell something, all that. But now, since we've all got our coins and have a chance to do whatever we want with them, whether it be trading or, you know, buying more or DCAing or selling or whatever it is, or doing nothing, like literally not even touching them the entire time. I hear people talk about that too. I think it's just a different framing, because for me, the excitement doesn't come from the prices in March 2024 going to the moon, or my expectation is such that they would. The excitement comes from the whole ecosystem being built out and supported, and money coming in, the bridge and all the stuff that I cover from time to time, and it being primed in a way that is unbelievably exciting. And yeah, at a certain time, if things just don't go up, then yeah, it's going to be, I guess that'll be disappointing. But I don't think, since what we've seen since December, January timeframe, I think all those are just they're testing the market. I think the whales that are buying and bridging and SackDaddy and otherwise are just testing the market right now. And like, hey, what happens when I do this, right? Like, they got charts and people analyzing and like feeding the data. My speculation could be nothing, but that's what I think makes sense to me and what I'd like to believe. You guys believe whatever you want. Seeing what works and what doesn't work, in order to be able to create, you know, the mother of all cycles as far as the ecosystem is concerned. I don't know what the case is against that. I really don't. I don't know what makes more sense than that. Knowing what I know, seeing what I've seen, you know, all this stuff over time. I don't know the better case of what makes more sense than that happening. So I'll go with that. I mean, that's my rationale. And so, yeah, as soon as I see a reaction they like to see or otherwise, boom, I think it's really on. Hundreds of millions, you know, whatever's going on. Could be billions, spin on ETH trade, almost. There's a lot of stuff going on. But I think that's more reasonable than the opposite. Like I said, that makes a lot more sense to me. So yeah, I'm going with that. You got to place your bet somewhere. I'm placing them in a really cool, exciting thing that makes the most sense to me. That's where I'm going with it. So again, it's not about expecting people to be excited when prices are up and down and not up as much as they want. It's about, I'm not even thinking about the prices today. I'm thinking about, again, I'm not thinking about like, hey, we're going to 100x tomorrow. I'm like, over time, these prices keep moving up, and eventually we'll get to, I hope we'll get to the hundreds of X of this stuff. That's what I'm thinking of. So maybe just a different type of mindset looking at it. All right. Richard said he cares the least about the ink token market is decided. That is funny. It is. I remember there were streams he was saying he cares the least amount about it. And I mean, of course, you can, there's a joke to be had there with seeing the price go up as much, but I think it's interesting because the ink has been, again, he tweeted about the leverage, could be leverage on Pulse and PulseX. I think ink has maybe even turned into something he didn't even think it would be as well. I feel like with ink, it was kind of like, okay, obviously we need this token. It can't be PulseX. It's got to be deflation or all that stuff. And then with ink, it's like, okay, I mean, to me, again, what makes the most sense to me, I don't know these things. I'm not part of the team. I'm not in the back room listening and seeing all the stuff. So I have to kind of like just think about what it makes sense to me about it. So I imagine with ink, for example, probably with a lot of other things too, it was like, okay, let's just have it. We'll figure out where it comes into play later on. We know it's important. People need to be rewarded for yield farm. It can't be done forever, all this type of stuff. I believe that was part of it. But the whole, and maybe you thought about leverage before too, but the whole, I don't know. I guess if you were thinking about it as leverage the entire time, or if that was a newer concept that kind of fed into the bigger deal, what is leverage, right? Historically speaking, goes up more, goes down more. We've seen that with ink already. It went up further than anything else. It went down harder than everything else, and now it's up more than anything else. So I'm thankful for that. I mean, I know I was never interested in yield farming before. Now things are around PulseX. I'm more than not interested. Dan, was there a 7-to-1 ratio? There was. Let's see. Let me pull up the chart real quick. I know it was 6 for a while. It didn't settle at like 6.3, I want to say. Where is the... We do HEX. Oh, it's on GoPulse. I forgot. Easier. Whoa. They remembered I had it set on 90 days. I was like, oh my gosh, did we get the mother of all pumps just in time? 1,500% for ink. Let me reset that for you. Oh no, they hexed at 30%. What's it say? Oh, it's down 577 now. Was that after the pump then? Was it down more? Yeah, including EHEX before. Combined hex was 0.18, I think, before. So that was, I took it to over 6. Did we pump again? Was there another, let's see. Was there another, where'd this come from? March 14th? That was yesterday. Pump yesterday. It was a pump today at the end of the night. Yeah, from 15 up to 17.5. Pumped again. That's what I'm saying. Like, last 24 hours, again, I'm not a chartist, not a TA guy. I'm not, none of this is financial advice or anything, but it's interesting how, again, I told you that I believe that the wells and stuff are testing to see how the market responds to these different moves, whether it's the bridging and the buying, I think, again, I haven't checked Twitter. I was asking Crispy. I thought he said that Godwell had staked some more. I can't remember. Don't quote me on it. I need to get verification, but that's what I'm talking about when I talk about mega well stuff happening too. But yeah, I think, and it is up. So we're at 5. We're under 6-to-1 right now. Pretty cool. But Cobbs, I imagine you're saying I picked it up to that. Crispy. But I want the 100x now. Yeah. That is That is something to want. That is something to want. Scrolling down. Again, I try to come at this as positive as I can. I mean, I get frustrated and annoyed like everyone else, right? I try not to have emotional outbursts and stuff on Twitter and otherwise, for example. And I like following people who avoid doing that as well. And I try not to say things I don't mean. I try not to, I try to actually think about things and consume and be like, okay, even if I don't like this, is there something here? Is there something better? Anyways, just scrolling down. The Chad of muscles and the brain, the body, the quads. This guy has no shortage of fucking machinery. Cool. Let's see. Cobb says, I'm personally very, very bullish in the last 3 days on all our seconds. I agree with you. I agree with you, Cobbs. That sounds like a very uncommon sentiment for some reason. It's like everyone's worried about PX and HEX going down and not pumping or whatever. And I'm just sitting here like you. I'm like, the bullishness has not changed at all. It has not changed. We will win. That is still the mantra. It's so many different verticals. I think that's, yeah, anything else going on? Kind of just want to address that. I was thinking about it today, and I just don't understand all the negativity and all the stuff like that when we got so many things to be grateful for and looking forward to. And again, I'm not saying you're ungrateful if you're upset about EX or whatever. I'm just saying the bigger picture, I don't see, again, unless you went all in on EX, which I don't think was very common, I don't think how this actually affects anything other than the emotional aspect of, oh, thing happened I don't like, that sort of thing. And it sucks. I don't like thing happen that I don't like to happen either. But like, it's crypto, man. The highest volatility, the highest it's not even, yeah, what is the phrase for that? Volatility is the price you pay for the best performing asset, but also it's like there's ups and downs everywhere. So this is the third time we've seen the sack wallet buying. Shout out to Hex FUD, by the way, making a lot of great content on Twitter, a lot of cool stuff. Yeah, the third, I think it's the third time. I think the first time was January 6th. Second time was that in February sometime. Third time in March, or did we have the second time in March? Early March, one of those. Maybe that's what it was. I was actually going to put some numbers. I was wondering if anyone has if this did occur, if the same amount was bought. Because the first two times, I think it was equal amounts of HEX, PulseChain, PulseX, and incentive token. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not 100% sure, and then this time it was just PHEX. So I mean, what I was thinking about today was, I think RH is just or I guess entity who controls all this stuff, whatever, is just testing to see, like, what is going to catch fire here? What is going to make it? Where do you light the fuse, kind of thing? Like, where can I light this where the whole market stops ignoring it and starts saying, hey, this is altcoin season. We see the world's former largest DAI holder buying. We want to front run him, or we're going to get in the middle and make much less money. Maybe that takes some time. Maybe the prices need to go to a certain point. Maybe people need to look at the candles. They need to look at PulseChain, for example. And they just need to see more of this. Maybe that's what it is. They just need to be, oh, well, that looks pretty good. That was okay. It's uptrend, but whatever. It's still this. Who else is buying it? Maybe they need to see more of their friends buying it. Maybe that Rand dude needs to, start talking about more on the show. Which, by the way, he did talk about PulseChain. He did a whole segment on PulseChain when PulseChain launched. So it's not like Rand's always just popping bubbles. Like, I don't know, his opinion these days on all of this stuff. But before I tweeted it, I was like, man, I totally did not see him talking about PulseChain so hard when that first came out. What else? Yeah, I think, again, with just EX, maybe the bull market EX will get pulled along. A lot of this stuff just seems obvious. Like, he says it, and it's kind of just like, yeah, I mean, I guess after making 50 move to PulseChain HEX tweets, that was reassuring, but I don't know. I'll post this chart from Lunar Crush. RH has absolutely been crushing on social media. Look at this. Back in October, nothing until 2024, basically. He's like, yeah, I'm the man. Really good. His follower count's been going up too. He's about 342K. It's been pretty good. So I don't know if I've ever used this meme. I've had it for a long time. I don't think I've ever used it. And I was like, man, is this a good time to use it? I guess. Like, it, even back then, it didn't even really mean that. It just meant, like, trying to think the context back then, it was like basically PulseChain was better than ETH, but now it turned into this, meme you could use for EX versus PX type of thing. And again, what if this is the last big shakeout? This community's went through a ton of drama, back and forth, up, down, left, right, all this stuff. What is this the biggest piece? What if he's got this? Again, I'm speculating. You can believe it, not believe it, whatever. Here's what I think. If I were to imagine being a fly in the wall in the war room, that is PulseChain HQ. What if he is like, this has to happen. If you watch the last 3 streams, sacrifice. This is a sacrifice. It's not just a simple win-win type thing. He's like, this has to happen. We have to take a back seat. EX. It's got to happen. We got to funnel people in the PulseChain. No more trying to get around the gatekeeping. No more sending people to 5 different websites they never heard of to try to buy it. We got to, all this stuff. You can bridge it. You can buy it at, and make your own decisions on all that stuff. But money goes into PulseChain. And then we can do it. And then we can go up. Who knows? Maybe that's what happened. I would like to think that. I would certainly like to think that. Yeah, what do you guys? I got a couple more minutes here. I'm not gonna make this long stream. Shout out to 256 people watching. That's a very special computer number if you're a computer nerd. Any other questions or something I missed here that's actually interesting and not just, all that stuff? Because it kind of feels like this to me. Yeah, if you go ahead and not fudge yourself out of mad gains, that'd be great. Shout out to Office Space. Great movie. Right? I got a lot of memes, by the way. Keep cycling through as relevant. Got a lot of memes. Richard is not perfect. Said that more than once, but I think he's got her back. I'm going to say that from all I've seen. I think he's got her back. And if you're new to PulseChain, check out this onboarding list, tinyurl.com/onboardpls, or go to gorealdefi.com, learn to earn, and click onboard. It can't get simpler. Look at that ship, look at that yacht. Who wants a yacht? I like to have a yacht. Maybe rent one. If I'd own one. Maintenance seems expensive, but All right. That's all I got. Shout out to everyone out there doing amazing stuff in the community who, we have our ups and downs, but again, I want to say it doesn't get better than this, but because, we're at the drama point again. It's just happened 500 times before, and many more times before I was involved in the community. I've been following Richard, before HEX, but I haven't been interacting with the community except the last couple of years or so. But it's it's a lot, but I think it's worth it. If you're leaving, I mean, best of luck to you. I hope everyone the best. I'm not mad at anyone for leaving or taking a break or doing whatever. I just believe this is the greatest place to be in crypto. I believe that overall has its ups and downs, but greatest place to be in crypto. I'm sticking with that. So that's all I got for you today. Scivive and 5555. We are out.